Hi everyone, my name is Will Massey. I'm the youth director here at Highland, here in the youth room, coming to you with your Thursday devotional. First, I want to tell you about some research that the Pew Research Center did and published earlier this year, saying that about 2/3 of Americans say that they are worn out by all of the news that they consume. This report was published in February, before everything that has happened since February. I would count myself among the 2/3 of people that feel worn out by all of the news that I consume. I would think that the ratio is even higher now in August. At different points in the last few months, I have felt distracted, exhausted, sometimes happy, often overwhelmed, really all over the place. And certainly for me, for a lot of people, I know for our young people, chaos is part of our lived experience right now. I guess I'm young, but I have not lived through such a time of instability. I'm hoping that in this process, I'm learning to be resilient and adaptable, able to experience and go through change while still staying hopeful and sticking to my values, sticking to my faith. But this time is maybe extra hard when we think about all of the energy and money sometimes that we have invested in having secure and stable lives. Think of all the things you do to achieve stability in your life. You buy insurance, you get locks for your stuff. We follow rules and regulations about how to drive our cars and how houses can be built, all of those things, and we submit to these rules and regulations because they help us have a stable life. None of those are bad things. It's okay to do all of those things, but it makes it painful when we see things upended in our personal lives, in the world around us. We've invested so much in security and it still is upended. So what is God doing here? What is God doing right now? What do we make of all this chaos? Sorry, scrolling down there. I'll say this. Many of us, I think, are used to looking for God in the silence, in contemplative space, in nature, in warm feelings that we have with God or with each other. In 2020, maybe we say that we are looking for God, trying to find God in spite of all the chaos and the fear and the division. And God is there, of course. God is there. But if God can only be found in tranquility, in calm contemplation in nature, then God is smaller than we thought, and God is smaller than we find in our Bibles. So I thought we would review some times when God did something and it was anything but calm and unthreatening and orderly. I think we know the story of Exodus, the liberation from Egypt for the Israelites. Think of the chaos that God brought on Egypt, the plagues, the disasters, so that the Israelites had a chance to escape from Egypt, right up until the end, the chariots crashing into the sea. I read Psalm 46 the other day, where God promises to break the bow and shatter the spear and burn the shield with fire. Destructive actions, property damage God is doing. We think of Jesus turning over the tables of the money changers in the temples. No regard for their personal property being scattered all over the courtyard. And of course, Jesus saying, I'm paraphrasing, you assume that I came to bring peace, but I came to bring not peace, but a sword. So we see here that, yes, we feel worn out by the disagreements, the debates, the questions that are impossible to answer, like what's the best way to go back to school, or what's the best way to get people going back to work. It's exhausting, and there's so much bad news. There's chaos on our news feed, there's chaos in the streets. But maybe we can pause before we get too overwhelmed and remember that sometimes these things are signposts on the path to peace, on the road to liberation and reconciliation. God is still doing something. We are unsettled right now, of course, but God may be right in the thick of it all, leading us towards a true peace that has only existed up to now in our imaginations. And we can trust that God is there and God is doing that. Amen.